Good morning. Are you all looking forward to this?
Maybe they're coming in right now. Also, make sure that you picked up a pair of these 3D glasses. If you didn't get these, let one of our team members here know. I'm going to turn it over to my co-host, Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, hey there. You made it. Welcome to the Universal Studio Tour. I'm Jimmy Fallon. I'll be making sure that you get through this experience in one piece. You've got the very best guide.
Robert.
And the greatest driver.
James.
They're the best. I love them. Even though
Robert
owes me $5. I know you guys are excited to get on the tour, but first, a few safety rules.
Okay, thanks, Jimmy. We got some safety rules to go over. First, rule number 1, if you need guest assistance, if you have a medical emergency, if you drop something of value off the side of the tram, or if you have any sound or video issues, reach up and grab the red emergency cord that runs along the center of the ceiling of the tram, and I'll be back to assist you as soon as it's safe to do so. Otherwise, during the entire tour, please remain seated, keeping your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. That's rule 2. The studio is private property, and if at any time during the tour you drop your phone or just can't wait to use the restroom, pull the cord and remain seated. Please, no smoking of any kind during the tour. That's rule number 3. Rule number 4, be prepared. Our tour today features loud noises, fire effects, and many water effects, so you may get wet. There are also sudden tram movements during the tour, so secure your personal belongings and hold on. Finally, for your safety and for the safety of those around you, please do not use selfie sticks while you're on board, and please remain seated for the entire tour. Coming up on the left, all this twisted metal. I'm sure maybe up in the park you saw that new-looking brick building. This is a Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift, a new roller coaster themed to our Fast and Furious movies. You know, I can't think of a better pairing of a ride system and a movie franchise than roller coasters and Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift, set to open next year, which also next year marks the 25th anniversary of the release of the original The Fast and the Furious. To stay up to speed on Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift, visit our website and follow our socials for updates. And Universal got started back in 1912 when our founder, visionary Carl Laemmle, brought his movie company west and opened Universal Pictures on March 15th, 1915. Mr. Laemmle invited the public to visit his studio. Just like that, the world-famous studio tour was born. We didn't have the trams yet, or the lovely and talented studio guides. We didn't come along until the 1960s, when we were under the leadership of company chairman Lou Wasserman. We're very respectful of Lou Wasserman's legacy. The Black Tower up ahead there on the right, that's our Lou Wasserman building, is one of several structures located down here on our front lot. Also home to a new office campus, sound and editing facilities, and the majority of our 36 sound stages. Inside these buildings, we can create any environment that the story demands or that the script calls for. On the left, soundstage number 12, the largest one on the Universal lot. It was in there that all the following sequences were shot. Stage 12 was big enough to hold sets like Dracula's Castle, Frankenstein's Lab, the Visitor Center for Jurassic Park, downtown Whoville for the live-action How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and the Eden East Resort for Couples Retreat. Stage 11 on the left here. I was telling you folks about Hacks with Gene Smart and Hannah Einbinder, the Universal series on Max, or maybe HBO Max. Yeah, season 4 was utilizing stage 11. Stages 10 and 9, oh, grab your thunder, buddy. They were recently used for the upcoming season 2 of Ted, coming to Peacock. These all three of these sets, 11, 10, and 9, are being used for a commercial for a cell phone Wi-Fi service provider. Stages 8, 7, and 14 were all used for the upcoming 4th and final season of Bel Air. Here's two of the stars, Jabari Banks and Ali Sholaton.
Could you just grab me a water when you get?
So what it is, you put egg on the cheese. You put cheese on the eggs, and then you cheese it.
It's mine. Whoa, how many seats do you think are in there? I don't know, it's gotta be a lot.
Yeah, we could probably fit the whole Bel Air cast and crew in there.
You know, we gotta get one of these for the mansion.
For sure.
You're lucky for y'all, the Banks family mansion lives right here on the Universal lot.
Right. Some of Bel Air's most pivotal scenes have been filmed right here. Jabari, what have been your most memorable moments?
I don't know. I mean, there's so many to choose from. You know, I love the foyer set where Will first enters, and at that moment, his life changes forever. What about you?
Well, the Bel Air Academy gym set is here too, and I remember you having to sit in that cold ice bath for hours.
Yeah. And that was really fun. I still can't feel my toes. No, but seriously, my favorite part of this lot is the talented crew who put it all together, from hair, wardrobe, makeup.
Set design, props, and transportation.
Yes. Yo, Transpo's the best. Yeah, they have the sweetest rides for us to play with.
Actually, speaking of, if we're gonna get a ride like this, we better go talk to Transpo now and let these people get back to their tour.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. As long as I get to drive.
Oh, not if I've got the keys.
Oh, that's fun.
Come on, man.
And speaking of television and the 21st century medium of streaming, Universal, NBC, Universal, Peacock, etc. have also brought you many of your other favorite hit television shows. We also now bring you streaming shows. Back on the loading line, I was talking about the 5-star Weekend starring Jennifer Garner coming to Peacock. It's been filming in some of these stages on the right. They were also used for A Paper starring Donald Gleason, premiering on Peacock next Thursday, September 4th. Yeah, September 4th, next Thursday. Also on the right, look at this, the Minions. Illumination Entertainment Next Exit. Illumination is one of our sources of animated content. They're the ones we can thank for turning the Minions loose onto the world in Despicable Me back in 2010. Oh, stage 19 was recently used for A Man on the Inside with Ted Danson, a Universal series on Netflix from Michael Shore, creator of the NBC shows Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Parks and Recreation, and The Good Place, also with Ted Danson. Again, we're now using these stages for the 5-star Weekend starring Jennifer Garner. So, Illumination Entertainment, like I was saying, they're one of our sources of animated content. They got their offices inside one of these bungalows on the left. Let me guess, you're already looking to the left. You spotted Ted from the Ted movies and the Ted series on Peacock. Inside these other bungalows are the offices of some of the other top production companies in the business. Mark Platt is the producer of the Broadway hits Wicked and Dear Evan Hansen. He's got an office here. And Mark Platt is also the producer of the Wicked movies, both directed by John M. Chu, including last year's Oscar-winning Wicked Part 1 and this year's upcoming Wicked for Good. Wicked for Good, set to go Defying Gravity in theaters November 21st. Coming back from Wicked Part 1, we're going to get Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, Jonathan Bailey, Oscar winner Michelle Yeoh, and as the wizard himself, the man behind the curtain, Jeff Goldblum. And Mark Platt's office is in the back of this courtyard coming up on the left. There's like a realty sign that says MP way back there. A little further ahead is Bungalow 5195. It's currently home to the offices of the De Laurentiis Company. They brought us the Flash Gordon movie starring Sam Jones. That was also once the working office of the master of suspense, Alfred Hitchcock, director of classic thrillers like Psycho. Stages 25 and 26 coming up here are being used now for St. Dennis Medical Season 2, coming soon to NBC. You might see some golf carts here with Oregon license plates. Well, they say fictitious St. Dennis Regional Medical Center is in Oregon. It's a reference to the setting of the show, and these golf carts are used by some of the crew, like production, art, costumes, stuff like that, writers. St. Dennis Medical also films here on the back lot, where the world is just around the corner. And coming up on the left are metropolitan sets in New York Street. New York City is also where the big ape King Kong met his untimely end. Here's the director of Universal's 2005 retelling of the classic King Kong story, Academy Award winner Peter Jackson.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up in adventure. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and just from prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island. It was great to have you on the ride. Now we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, but just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island.
And adventure awaits us. Remain seated and hold on. Now let's head back to Skull Island. go ahead and put those glasses on.
Okay, glasses on, everybody.
King Kong 360 3D, one of the world's largest and most intense 3D experiences. That epic battle was projected onto two of the world's largest digital 3D screens, standing over 40 feet tall and collecting those from you at the end of the tour. Meanwhile, coming up on the left, here are the Metropolitan sets and New York Street. Maybe I mentioned this earlier, they're for the most part what are called facades, little more than false fronts and sides of buildings. For filming purposes, we found that that's very often all we need to build, only what the camera can see. You can see these sets in the NBC reality series American Ninja Warrior, and they also appear in St. Dennis Medical. They appear in 1990s Boston and Framingham, Massachusetts in the TED series, but now live from New York, or New York Street, and almost live. And on Friday morning, here's my co-host Jimmy Fallon.
Hey everyone, welcome to New York. I got my start right here in New York on Saturday Night Live. This is actually my old neighborhood. Once got mugged over there. An old woman, tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey buddy, how's it going? Remember me? No. Just like old times. Gotta love New York City.
Hey, I'm walking here.
Hey, it's cool guys. I was just walking there. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro sets. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Even if you make it here on the Universal lot.
On St. Dennis Medical, we have a lot of actors playing doctors. Yes, they're not doctors, but they play them on television. And you know something? I'm thinking of another type of doctor. Well,
Thou shalt rise again.
that one we saw there, Dr. Frankenstein, played by Colin Clive in Frankenstein. Yeah, it's time for us to look at our monster movie Mural, created by Tristan Eaton. It's coming up here on the right. It also features the Frankenstein monster, played originally on film here by Boris Karloff, and the Bride of Frankenstein, Elsa Lanchester. So Colin Clive, Dr. Frankenstein. He's the one who says the line, the famous line about... Speaking of cinematic doctors, how about Dr. Emmett Brown, played by Christopher Lloyd? He didn't make a monster, I don't think he did. He built a time machine, and coming up on the right, the Lion Estate signs from the Back to the Future films. They mark the entrance to Marty McFly's neighborhood, Michael J. Fox as Marty. I mentioned American Ninja Warrior. Over here to the left are stages 30 and 31, used for another popular NBC reality show. You guessed it, The Voice. Season 22 begins on September 22nd on NBC, and also on Peacock. It'll be streaming. The season 28 coaches will be the returning Michael Bublé, Niall Horan, Snoop Dogg, and Reba McEntire. And Reba can sometimes be found here in stages 32 and 33, filming her scripted sitcom Happy's Place with Melissa Peterman and Melissa Escobedo. Happy's Place returns to NBC for season 2 Friday, November 7th. And getting back to monster movies, we just passed by Park Lake. that artificial lake which was once home to the creature from the Black Lagoon in that 1954 3D sci-fi horror classic. Speaking of scary movie monsters that live in the water, we're now approaching Amity Island from Jaws. Don't worry though, everyone. Yeah, the shark has finally been caught. Mayor Vaughn wants you to know the beaches are perfectly safe. They'll be opening soon to tourists. That's sick vandalism. He told me himself to remind you that Amity means friendship. In fact, our Amity police divers are on the water right now. They're doing a final check of the harbor. One of the divers is my personal friend, Officer George. So they caught the shark. They wanted to get open by 4th of July, the beaches. There is still some festive patriotic bunting over here. And there's the shark, except, wait a minute. This shark doesn't look 25 feet long. It's more like 14, 15 feet. Boy, these fishermen tend to kind of exaggerate the truth, eh? I got one that was this big. They really mean listen to the ominous music and look at the fin of the water. A fin of the water? Wait a minute. You know what? Officer George is still out there somewhere. And we got to warn him, but where is he? Where is he? Oh, there he is. Hey, George, it's Robert. You got to get back in the boat. No, look out for the... No, oh, we're too late. The shark has got him. What do we do? Help, police! Oh, that's right. You are the police. You are the police. Everyone, please remain seated at all times as we make our way across the dock.
Clear the area. Repeat, clear the area.
I think the real Jaws is still out there somewhere. They attached some bait to the yellow buoy in the harbor. The shark has taken the bait. He's taken the pier.
It's a little late.
Jaws has been a favorite of the studio tour ever since the shark made his backlot debut way back in 1976. These Amity Island sets also became the town of Cabot Cove, Maine, for the television series Murder, She Wrote, starring Angela Lansbury as Jessica Fletcher, a daring author detective. And remember when I was telling you about how the world is just around the corner on the back lot? Here's an example of that. We're going to leave Amity and Cabot Cove, Maine, and we're going to head south of the border to Old Mexico. Old Mexico can be seen in Orion's Three Amigos with some SNL folks. Chevy Chase and also Steve Martin and Martin Short, both from Hulu's Only Murders in the Building. Is right, Martin Short. Oh, I must say. Ed Grimley. Anybody know? How about Jiminy Glick? Martin Short. Okay. Oh, there's a flash flood warning in effect for Old Mexico. Everybody remain seated. Keep your arms and legs inside if the shark didn't already get them, and hang on to loose articles as well. And the storm. Oh, everybody grab your thunder, buddy. The gods have been angered by all the celebration. We got some thunder and lightning. And now we got some rain. This isn't too bad. I think we can handle this. Hey, except does anybody happen to hear a low rumbling sound off in the distance? Uh-oh, on the left, it's a flash flood, and it's heading straight for the tram. Take cover. I was playing a trick on you back there. The rain is coming from a set of sprinklers above the tram. The flooding is the result of thousands of gallons of recycled water coming from tanks at the top of the hill and in the buildings. And here's the flooding effect in Big Fat Liar with Frankie Muniz, Amanda Bynes, and Paul Giamatti. We're now crossing a border into 6 Points, a western filming area which appears in the Sony Pictures production of Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And recently a showdown took place here.
This tour guy is not like that.
This town ain't big enough for the both of us, Jimmy Fallon. Well, I ain't going anywhere, Jimmy Fallon.
Now look here. Nice folks in this tram don't want no trouble. They just want to check out 6 Points, one of the oldest sets on the Universal lot.
I hear this is where John Wayne and Jimmy Stewart shot a few of their westerns.
That's right. That's where I aim to shoot you.
Looks like we got ourselves a Mexican standoff. Lucky shot.
Now what say you mount up and get out of town while the getting's good?
All right. Well, I'll see you again, Fallon.
Or you can count on it, pal. Now get.
This is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
We just have to talk it out, that's all.
Jimmy is going to talk it out. He's but one or maybe two of the Universal Western stars who've walked these streets over the years. There have been a few others. We're now heading down John Wayne Road. We're going to make a right here onto James Stewart Avenue and pass by Steven Spielberg Drive. And our tour is now approximately at the halfway mark. So I just want to remind everybody to stay seated during the tour. The studio is private property, so if you drop your phone or just can't wait to use the restroom, pull the red cord to get my attention. I'll be back to assist you, but do remain seated on the tram. Getting back to monster movies, ahead of us here is Little Europe, which has provided the setting for many classic Universal monster movies like Dracula with Bela Lugosi. Also, back to this idea that the world is just around the corner on the back lot. These sets can be transformed into nearly any country for filming, European or otherwise, by doing things like changing the language on the signs. Little Europe was Italy for the Sony Pictures production of Angels and Demons with Tom Hanks. It was also the afterlife for Michael Schur's NBC series The Good Place, with a man on the inside's Ted Danson as Michael and Kristen Bell from another Netflix series, Nobody Wants This, as the late Eleanor Shellstrop.
You, Eleanor Shellstrop, are dead.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife, come on. I've never ever seen this. You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. I can't risk going to the bad place.
Maybe it's not all that bad.
How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
Getting back to monster movies, these sets became kind of a 19th century gaslit pairs for the 1925 silent classic The Phantom of the Opera, starring Lon Chaney, the man of 1,000 faces, in what's considered to be his most famous role. To the right here is The Court of Miracles, named for another Lon Chaney film, The Miracle Man. It was there that many of these movie monsters made their first appearances, or disappearances. In the case of the Invisible Man, played by Claude Rains, or Claude Rains' voice at least, the sets began in the village of Iping, England for 1933's The Invisible Man. That 1925 Phantom of the Opera, that was 100 years ago. And on the left is this house, custom built back around 2012 for the reality series The Home and Family Show, which aired on the Hallmark Channel. I should say it aired on Hallmark if they were not airing something else, like, one of their holiday movies. It's an example of a practical set with a complete interior and exterior. It's also appeared in scripted shows like episodes of Bel Air. It'll be appearing in Bel Air Season 4. Now we get this open stage ahead of us, Stage 50. Inside is a set which is a recreation of a Northern California Bay Area subway station built for the upcoming production Ticket Machine Heist. This is as we enter the stage, remain seated and hold on. This is an example of a hot set. Everything is completely decorated, locked for a picture, and ready for the director. So once again, remain seated and hold on. That's one of our little California tremblers. We get them all the.
That was supposed to happen. Whoa.
This happened to me before. It happened last month.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's been happening for the last 18 months.
What was that? I feel like the hydraulics came out. Yeah, that's crazy.
We're all safe.
Yep.
For now.
Wave to the guy in the booth. Hi. Oh, you can't see us probably.
California subway station set. This is a hot set also, fully dressed, ready for filming. For production to begin, you say, action! Once again, everybody, hold on.
Okay. Oh, that's enough rocking and rolling for today, folks. We are approximately 15 minutes from the end of the tour, and we'll be returning to the theme park shortly. Remember to pull the emergency cord if you need assistance and remain seated at all times. We're going to be heading back past Amity Island, and Steven Spielberg, the director of Jaws, also was involved in bringing the shark to the studio tour.
The Jaws ride was almost the inevitable result of the size of the box office when Jaws first opened in June of 1975. And that was really the first time I ever got involved in the creation of a ride. It was a great honor to be invited into a creative circle of tremendous designers at Universal that were trying to figure out how to replicate what the movie had done to audiences in a real way by building a physical shark that would come out of the water and terrify tourists as they were sitting in the tram. And the most amazing thing about the Jaws ride is it is exactly as it was from the time it was first placed on the Universal lot. There have been tweaks, of course, over the years, but it is essentially what the designers and myself all envisioned and created. I'm done bashing the shark. Thank you, Jaws, for everything you've done for me. But I will say, consistently, the shark did work much better on the tour than it did in the Atlantic Ocean in 1974.
And to the right here, this is another example of a practical set with a complete interior and exterior, the Chicken Ranch. It's appeared in productions like Beethoven's Fifth, with the Big St. Bernard and Dave Thomas of SCTV and Strange Brew. We're now going to take a trip up and down Colonial Street, a very popular neighborhood, which featured as Wisteria Lane on ABC's Desperate Housewives. It's also used for the Ted series. In fact, on your screens, this blue house here, the same house is here to the right. It's been painted white for the upcoming series, The Burbs, based on the movie The Burbs, which also filmed right here and on the screen. So you can see there's tombstones in front of the house. This is the season 1 Halloween episode of Ted.
Let the festivities begin.
How many we got?
Well, let's see. We got 20 cartons.
Fantastic.
Do you think we're getting too old for this?
Oh, come on, Johnny. We're doing a public service here. If a kid leaves the house in a less than stellar Halloween costume, he's got to get the bad news before he makes a fool of himself all over town. Where's Samaritan?
This is also where Beyonce broke the internet in a commercial for a cell phone service provider that aired a few years ago during the big game in February. And
if there is one thing everyone in suburbia can appreciate, it's a good neighbor.
Colonial Street was Wisteria Lane on ABC's Desperate Housewives.
What the heck? Let's move back.
It was also Mayfield Place in the fictitious town of Hinkley Hills for the 1989 dark comedy The Burbs. It'll be appearing as Mayfield Place again for the Burbs streaming series coming to Peacock with Keke Palmer. By the way, one of the producers of the Burbs series is going to be Ted's Seth MacFarlane. Here's a look at the Burbs movie with Mr. Hanks here. Also, Yellow Jackets' Christina Ricci was here filming part of the Casper movie. One of Beyonce's bandmates from Destiny's Child, Kelly Rowland, came here with Nelly to film Nelly's Dilemma music video. We know about the Desperate Housewives. Tom Hulse and Stephen Furst shot a scene from Animal House around some of these sets. We're continuing up Steven Spielberg Drive. Like I said back in the loading area, Steven Spielberg had a chance to visit Universal Studios Hollywood back when he was in high school. He's going to tell us about that in a few moments here.
My entire career began with my relationship with Universal Studios just as a high school kid on a tour bus. Remember, in those days, there weren't trams, there were buses called the Gray Line Tour Bus. And I was so excited and thrilled to be on the lot. This was my first time ever on a movie studio lot. And during a bathroom break, I hid in the bathroom, and when everybody left to get back on the bus, I waited another 15 minutes until I'm sure the bus left, and then I had the entire lot to myself that day. And in those days, movie lots were so crowded because all movies were made on film lots. Today they're made all over the world, on locations, but most of it was focused in those days, in the 60s, on the film lots. So nobody noticed me when I was going around from soundstage to soundstage, and I really felt, in my own young way, I owned the lot. and had the most amazing day of my life.
To the right, some left, some famous movie vehicles. On the right, Terror Tram Enter the Blumhouse. This area is being actually converted over to Terror Tram Enter the Blumhouse. Behind these temporary fences and walls is something that's pretty scary on its own. The Beats Motel from...
We all go on a little match sometimes.
Alfred Hitchcock's classic thriller Psycho. And so yeah, that's the motel, the motel that features.
We have 12 vacancies. 12 cabins, 12 vacancies.
Here's a scale replica of the Hollywood sign with like what the Bayview babies from the mascot from Happy Death Day, the scary Uncle Sam from the Purge movies, the devil guy with the horns from the Black Phone, and we're heading up to the house of the Psycho House, and oh look everybody, it's Norman Bates. Well, Norman is the proprietor of the basement. We're gonna go somewhere else. Yeah, we're gonna go somewhere like this spectacular crash site from the Paramount DreamWorks production of Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds.
The airplane crash site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around a vision that Steven had.
When we first began to sit down to talk about the War of the Worlds, I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. Keep your eyes on me. Listen, now listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay? Get them close. Robbie, get in.
The Blumhouse Pictures also gave us Jordan Peele's first two movies, his first two directorial achievements, Get Out and Us. Jordan Peele's third movie was Nope. We're about to drive through the Jupiter's Claim sets used in the filming of Nope. Here to tell us more about these sets and also about movie magic in general is Academy Award winner Jordan Peele.
Movie magic only happens when a team of collaborators, often in the hundreds, work together to take an impossible notion and bring it to life. This is Jupiter's Claim, a nostalgic, small-time Southern California amusement park owned by former child star Ricky Jupe Park. Over there, look into the winking well and have your picture taken just like the kids in that old 90s movie Kid Sheriff. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one? No? Why? A little further down, you can see the brand new Star Lasso experience. Built to showcase an unbelievable new live show. Well, it's not looking so live anymore. Anyway, behind this Hollywood fantasy of a gold rush frontier town lies a sinister secret. It is smack dab in the center of the UFO hotspot. What's a bad miracle? You're about to find out. Welcome to the world of no.
We're going to do what the voice is telling us to do and get out before we get absorbed by Jean Jacket. Yeah, Jupiter's Claim was the setting for a final confrontation with the flying alien entity Jean Jacket. Speaking of finales, We're coming close to the end of the tour. Almost time for you folks to go back to the theme park. Your day is just starting. And I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us on the world-famous studio tour. To our past members, thank you so much for being with us today. If you're not a past member and you want to be one, head to the Universal box office to see how you can upgrade to an annual pass so you can come back again and again. Maybe join us next year for the opening of Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift. Make sure that you've downloaded the Universal Studios Hollywood app. That's where you'll find useful information like today's park hours. We're open till 7 p.m., wait times, mobile food ordering, and more. Also showtimes for Water World, a live Sea War spectacular. The first Waterworld show is at 12:15 p.m. And Universal Studios Hollywood is part of the newly rebranded Universal Destinations and Experiences, comprised of 8 parks entertaining millions of guests every year, including our newest park, Universal Epic Universe, now open in Orlando. We also just opened our Universal Horror Unleashed in Las Vegas. And next year, the grand total will be 9 parks. We have our new park for kids of all ages opening next year in Frisco, Texas. That'll bring the grand total to 9.